Having trouble with your garage door? Problem solved. Call Direct Service Overhead Garage Door Company. We're your go-to team for garage door repair, new garage doors, openers, and more. We offer same-day service. We're always ready when you need us. Best of all, you can book your appointment online or talk to a live operator 24/7. No machines, no waiting. So whether it's a broken spring or a brand new garage door, trust the local experts at Direct Service Garage Doors. Call us today or visit directserviceoverhead.com.
Oh man, you missed the whole rap I did through that whole thing.
Oh no, I missed it.
Freestyling, it was awesome.
Welcome everybody to Monday Night Lights Live. I am Ty Hudson, of course, along with me, as per usual, Mr. Tim Neal.
Yes, sir.
We have we got a lot to talk about. Direct Service Overhead Adam almost blew out my speaker.
Travis, do you love that bass, man?
He sent me another version. It was like supposed to be quieter because I don't think I can actually adjust the volume on that. So yeah, my bad. You think it's loud you want to hear it in my headphones. It's loud. In the beginning, I used to have to kind of do this, but I don't know. Just make sure now you can turn your volume back up. Welcome everybody as folks pile in. We do appreciate you for being here. Heads up, Patreon supporters for the month of, my gosh, September just vanished. Like we went through that so fast. So we are going to spin for the winners either tonight after the live show or maybe tomorrow. It just kind of depends on how long this goes. But right now, this is what the legendary status members have a shot at winning: an autographed Ryan Mallett card. We got Tyler Wilson autographed, and then the illustrious John Ridgway. You remember him? He was here for a short while, and then he ended up in the NFL. So those are the three autographed cards for legendary status members. You got a shot at winning one of those cards as long as you're a Tusk Talk with Ty Patreon supporter. There are a lot of reasons to be a supporter. And one of those is you get bonus XP in Discord, you get access to, some pretty cool insider information. And then, it just goes towards supporting the channel and everything that I do here. So I do appreciate that. And everybody who's been along for the ride. We're going to get that Go Niner talk out of chat though. Quincy, I'm not going to listen. I'll let that one slide, Quincy, but, that was, I'm not going to lie. I damn near threw my phone. I was in bed. My wife was reading her book, and I was watching on my phone. And I was so heated, man. I didn't say anything in Discord. I didn't say anything anywhere else. I'm getting text messages from friends. They're like, "Ha ha ha." Yeah,
man. I left you alone because it doesn't matter what team. The Eagles are going to win again this year. So
they lost on Sunday, though.
You're allowed to lose a game once in a while. They're 4-1. I mean,
yeah. Go Niners, kings of the NFC West. Yeah, well. Good luck in postseason play. All right. Again, make sure you guys like, share, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe. Okay, hit the notification bell. Sharing is caring. Oh, Lord. God, the Niners fans are coming through. I kind of had a feeling they would tonight. Sharing is caring. Share the content, and if you've got any questions or comments for us, feel free to fire away. But all right, Tim, how you doing, man?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Start to a good week, I think.
That's good to hear.
I mean, no matter what happens, there's no Sam Pittman this week. So, I mean, it's
brutal.
It's a good week.
That's brutal. Poor guy.
Well, I told you, listen, I told you in our private texts, our private chat, how I feel now. I have seen all that I'm going to see of, well, guys, you know what? Sam Pittman left us in a better place than when he took over? No, he did not. No, he did not. He did not leave us in a better place. We could go 2-10 this year. He started with us 2-10. He took us on a roller coaster. He did not leave us in a better place, and I'm not hearing that anymore.
Yeah.
Mostly because Sam isn't here anymore. So.
Well, that is. So we have a question. And this kind of pertains to Sam a little bit here, but the question, the post live comment question, and this is for Discord. This is for the folks that want in on the XP. Remember, our cycle ends tomorrow. Cycle 9 ends tomorrow at I think 5 p.m. So get in on all the XP you can get. We're gonna make this worth. This is gonna be worth 5K XP. 5K. I'm gonna write it here just in case I forget. 5K XP. Here's the question, and this will be the last thing that Tim and I talk about. How attractive is the Arkansas job really? How attractive do you think the head coaching position at Arkansas, how attractive do you think that it is? And think of it like, try to take off the hog blinders for just a second and look at it from an outsider's perspective looking in. Now, I realize there's some stuff that we don't know, like how much money do they really have? It sounds like Hunter Yurchek sounds pretty confident they're going to be able to facilitate, to be able to get someone in here and get them kind of I guess he didn't say this exactly, but they're going to have the financial necessities to help facilitate a full roster and all that stuff, right? We don't know exactly how much. We don't know for how long. Is that for a year? Is that for 2 years? Is that for 3 years? Is that for however long that coach is going to be here? Are they set up long term? That is stuff that we don't really know. But I want you to answer that question after the live show. If you answer it now, it's going to look, we're going to have to go back and scroll up through all of it. So again, if you want some of that sweet, sweet Discord XP, Tusk Talk XP, you got to answer that question. How attractive is the Arkansas job currently? And again, Tim and I will talk about that at the end of the show. I know there's probably already some people commenting on it.
I have like 5 pages of rant on that on Twitter in our private text.
Yeah. 6.3. What does this mean? Is that like on a scale of 1 to 10? What does that mean?
6.3.
I mean, I want words. I want I think it's very attractive. I think that the money's probably going to be there. I don't know. I mean, I want you, and also it's not only just that though. Even though now money means more than ever. I mean, not that of course it always has, but I mean, you did need rich alums to help you, upgrade your facilities and to, help out with some stuff. But now it's like you're kind of putting it on them to contribute to that 20.5. And so that is a big part of it. But also there's you got to take into consideration since 2012, how attractive has that job really been in that time span? And then where it's at now. But again, use your words. Again, appreciate everyone for hopping in here. We love you all. And please hit the like button and share the content. We will be back also Wednesday, by the way. We'll be back Wednesday. Travis says he'll be with us. One can hope. We could pray. Travis Ford will be here. Because there's no doubt when all three of us are on here, I think it's a lot of fun. But Tim and I hold this down. I think we kill it. I want to give a special shout out. Really cool. I'm sorry, what?
I said, well, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, man. I think you and I do really well. I want to give a shout out to, if I can pull this up on the screen. This is, and I'm going to be real. I don't have all the information, like who this individual is exactly. I know he's in our Discord. Here it is. Pigpen Collective. This is a fan orchestrated collective. The Pigpen Collective. Okay. This is their website, pigpencollective.com. You can go there, become a member. The individual that started it, again, I don't know his name. We're trying to work out where me, him, and Courtney Mims, and hell, maybe Travis and Tim can join us. Where we're going to talk about the specifics, what the goal is here. But this is obviously, I think if we scroll down, there's some, you could put there, you could join. Here's their pledges. You got $1 pledge. You got the every fan membership for $20. I thought they had, time to cheer on our team with a new head hog. Okay. True. Facts, right? I thought they had kind of their goal, maybe
On the about page, man.
Yeah, the about page. Here we go. Here it is. The collective was started by one fan with a drive for change. When the athletic director tells the public, we don't have money with any solutions or a plan of action, you make one. As lifelong Arkansas fans, we want to help support our future athletes and support the future coach in football, and all the current coaches get the best talent in Fayetteville. We also hate losing to Ole Miss. They are currently killing us in the NIL department. Well, until now, all caps. I mean, listen, what they've got going on at Ole Miss, it'd be awesome if we could build this up into what Ole Miss has got going on. They have the disclaimer there. Pigpen Collective is an independent name, image, and likeness collective operated by fans for fans. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by, officially connected to the university, so on and so forth. Anyway, shout out to them. I told him I would give him one. Again, we're going to hopefully get him on next week. Him and Courtney Mims, maybe this week if we can figure out a schedule. But I'd like to have them both on here. So again, shout out to them. I mean, when you leave it up to the fans, why not, right?
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to do something.
Yeah, for real. Someone's got to do something. I mean, it just feels like they've been sitting on their hands for a little while. What's going on, John Armstrong? How you doing, man? Someone wrote an article that predicts Gruden to Penn State. Franklin's already fired, huh? That's what you get for losing to UCLA. Who the head coach looks like Joffrey from Lord of the Rings. Sorry, Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Pass the buck to the fans, not giving a dime. Wow, that's a great attitude to have right there.
And I thought we were negative.
Good Lord.
Man, Arkansas fans are negative right now.
I mean, this is just someone, trying to get things going in a positive direction for the collective, for a fan-made collective. I don't know, man. I mean, I guess that's one way of looking at it, though.
Go backwards and find Mac's comment. I'll see if I can. He says, "Come on, Ty. I know you want to read my comment." Oh, here it is.
They were talking about UCLA. What did he say?
I think the job is as attractive as John Haas Jr. A solid 7 with some touching up, but lipstick on a pig is still a pig. Don't talk about John Haas's lipstick.
Wow. Or as Chris goes. All right. Well, let's get started off with, if you guys haven't heard, this was kind of semi-breaking news. Arkansas Athletics ending the relationship with Blueprint Sports. We got this from Kyle Parkinson, the SID, earlier today. The University of Arkansas athletics department began unwinding its relationship with Blueprint Sports following the House versus NCAA settlement earlier this year, and will officially end the relationship October 15th. Blueprint Sports has been the managing company of Arkansas Edge, Arkansas's official collective, since November of 2023. On July 1st, 2025, in conjunction with the new NCAA legislation and permissible rules associated with the House settlement and student athlete revenue sharing policies, Arkansas Athletics assumed all name and image likeness agreements with Razorback student athletes that were previously executed by Blueprint Sports, also, Arkansas Edge. Since that time, these two parties have explored future opportunities to work together. Okay. Yeah, I didn't get that far. My question would be why? But a clear solution never developed. Oh, okay. I guess I should finish reading.
Or could it be that Jacoby Sainsbury called them out on Twitter in front of the entire Arkansas Twitter universe, and they had to make a decision?
Yeah, he's kind of going after him, isn't he?
He's after them hard.
It's a one-man mission.
I'm here for it.
As the new era of college athletics has evolved, Arkansas Athletics focus on securing NIL opportunities for student athletes has transitioned successfully to front office and the new director of NIL strategy. Additionally, multimedia rights partner Learfield, the Razorback Sports Properties, continues to support the department of engaging companies for NIL opportunities for student athletes. The efforts, this is the last paragraph here, the efforts of the Arkansas Edge staff and support from members over the past 2 years is greatly appreciated and filled an important role for the success of Arkansas athletics. However, there is a different path forward in the new era of college athletics that is in the best interest for the sustained success of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Yeah. Edge was down to like one employee. That one guy was like, oh man, shit.
You mean I have to do something? He wasn't even here. He was in Norman, Oklahoma, from what I understand.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So not even someone nearby.
There's been there was some revealing information with Blueprint Sports and some of the other programs that they support or help them out with their NIL, and there were some really bad deals cut. Trey Biddy on Twitter said that from what he understood, that Arkansas didn't have that deal. It wasn't structured like those other deals that were so poorly structured.
But do we have proof of that?
Well, I don't know. I think Biddy's hearing that from a source.
What else are they going to say if they don't offer up some paperwork? I don't believe it. That stuff seems pretty standard. Like you sign up every university under the same deal.
It's what you would think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ty, how you feel about Nick Smith being a Laker now? I don't like any Razorback to be a Laker.
I don't like anybody playing with LeBron. I don't want any success for LeBron. So
Blueprint still has this on their page. Yeah. So that email went out earlier today. I'm sure they'll have it down by the end of the week. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know, but Biddy claims 15% take by Blueprint Sports, but behind a paywall. Well, I mean, again, if Biddy's hearing it from a source, I'm going to trust Biddy. I mean, he's only going to report what he's being told.
Yeah, it's not Biddy I don't trust. It's the source, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds like I think I'd heard before that some of their deals are structured differently, and I don't remember if Courtney had verified that. Courtney Mims, who's a friend of the show, who comes on every once in a while. But this is definitely. I mean, we saw this coming. The writing was on the wall. This doesn't surprise anybody. So, yeah, it's a good thing, and I would question. I guess because of the legalities, that's why they went to a third party to begin with. But they kind of state that now moving forward, they can do their own thing. So. That was a pretty good little transition there, though, wasn't it? We went from talking about this fan ran NIL thing, the Pigpen Collective, right into Blueprint Sports. You can't ask for a better transition, baby.
I think after 15 years, you're kind of getting used to the job, starting to make great transitions. Ty, you can keep it
15 years? Where are you getting that at?
17, 19?
It feels like it sometimes. The Biddler strikes again. I've never heard that one. The Biddler strikes again. Yeah, I don't like the Celtics. Johnny, you are correct. Yeah. Or the Lakers. I don't like the Lakers. I'm telling you, man, I'm fudging up Lord of the Rings, and then I'm my own team.
I'm actually just waiting for LeBron to announce his transition to the WNBA so he can actually win some championships and have the same amount of championships as Jordan.
I'm not touching that. We're not going there. We're not going there. Okay. I kind of, off topic for a second, I kind of blame LeBron for why the NBA, this is like Celtics just went on a really nice run, won a title not that long ago. And I'm like,
don't talk about the dome. That title doesn't count.
Sure it does. Yeah, Ty is a Kobe hater because of that 2012 NBA championship. Those are great games. But yeah, I was bitter after that one. It felt like when Brady beat the Rams for the first time. It really did. I don't know why, but I had that same level of just anger after that. Anyways, all right. Let's get to the meat and potatoes, huh?
Okay.
How about Arkansas interviewed Kirby Moore, current offensive coordinator for the Mizzou Tigers, over the phone for the vacant head coaching job for Razorback football. Mizzou right now has the 4th overall offense in the country, and they are currently 10th overall in scoring offense as well. Don't know if they'll maintain that, but yeah, this is interesting, although not shocking. interesting thing to do. It's always weird when you hear about teams doing this. Meanwhile, you've got the guy who a lot of people think is going to end up with it anyways, and Bobby Petrino. You have him here as the interim head coach. And I know he understands that this is protocol and they got to do this, but there's still something strange about that. Like he was on Chuck and Bo's show this morning, kind of talking about, how they're treating it like it's business as usual in a way, like they're talking about recruiting and kind of getting ready for Tennessee. Meanwhile, the athletic director is carrying on these interviews. Again, that's what he's supposed to do. And to be honest with you, this kind of goes back. I think you said this. I'm pretty sure this was either you, it might have been Travis, or hell, it could have been someone else. I don't know. But someone had made the comment that like Hunter is on a timetable. He might really only have before the end of the season to get this thing right and to get it figured out. He's got to hit the ground running. So, we're not. He's got the interview with Kirby Moore, who, by the way, played wide receiver at Boise State. He's making $1.2 million to play calls or to call plays at Mizzou. He's been there since 2023, and their scoring and total offense is like all over the place. But this year, obviously, they're off to a really good start. Again, we'll see if they end up there. But anyways, it is a little strange to hear about this. Meanwhile, you've got a guy who everybody knows, the public knows. And because the U of A has just said it and he's confirmed it. He wants the job. But oh, by the way, we've also got to carry on these interviews. That kind of makes you wonder if it's a little bit distracting. I feel like it would be for me. It would be for me a little bit. But again, he gets it. It's a business. He understands Hunter's got a job to do. He's got to do this.
Well, and so that makes it that brings up the funny point of the article that we read earlier from Best of Arkansas Sports, where apparently a Yahoo college football podcast was talking about Hunter Yurachek actually putting out a trap door for Bobby. Like, yeah, we're going to interview you, but you have no chance of actually getting this job because you have no chance of actually doing anything with this program over the next 7 games. But we need to keep you here and keep things running. So we're going to make it seem like you have a shot at this job. And that's basically what they made it sound like.
Yeah. And the idea that like Bobby's going to have to get you to a bowl game to get the job is also like, I think they said that on that podcast. That
they said 5 to 6. Yeah,
that's. I don't think that's true. I just don't think that that's true at all. I think all he's got to do is put a better like finished product on the field on both sides of the ball and not get blown out. Maybe win a couple games. And I think he's going to be a legitimate, serious candidate for the job. And a lot of people talking nationally are telling you, or they're saying to the Razorback fans, to the people listening to their content and what they're saying on Twitter and elsewhere, they're all kind of saying like the same thing, that it feels like this is just, it's going to come full circle. Bobby's going to end up taking the job again, which I'm not 1,000% opposed to. I'm just, I'm on record. I mean, I've said this multiple times. I don't know for the long-term health of the program. I don't know if that's the right call to bring him back.
What's crazy is this back end schedule is the perfect storm for him to win 4 games.
Well, wait,
I'll make a case for it real quick. This back end schedule, this last 7 games, is the perfect storm for Bobby to win 4. First of all, I know people are going to laugh about this, but Tennessee has the most turnovers in the SEC and the most points scored off turnovers in the SEC. If we could get turnovers and score off of them, technically we could beat Tennessee. That's one. Texas, Arch Manning is playing like he's still in high school. I mean, he's bad. He's really bad. Texas sets up as a possible win. It shouldn't, but it sets up as a possible win. Jackson Arnold has been sacked the most times of any quarterback in the league.
He's pressured a lot.
And Bo Pribula has the second most.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. And then technically, Mississippi State's still on the schedule. So it's a perfect storm if he could inspire a defense. If he actually can inspire a defense, It's a perfect storm for him to win 4 or 5 games. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think he wins 2.
Okay.
But it's a perfect storm for him to win 5 games and people to be like, oh my gosh, give him the state, make him the governor, fire Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like, it is the perfect storm for him to win 5 games. I don't think he will, but everything I just said there is fact. Bobby technically has 5 games in there that he could pull off.
Yeah, I don't think
Charlie Kirk right now. I want a tent around me that says "Prove me wrong."
Or Crowder, Steven Crowder. He went back to he went to SMU last week, and I watched part of that. That was interesting. But yeah, he started that whole deal. By the way, that was actually Charlie Kirk that did the whole change my mind or whatever.
Yeah, Steven Crowder. Yeah.
At Tennessee, Texas A&M, Auburn. So you do have a 3-game stretch there. We have games in Fayetteville. I will fully admit I was wrong, even though LSU's number 11 in the country. Boy, they've got something going on with Nussmeier. I can't figure it out. And I think by the time Arkansas plays them, they're likely going to barely be in the top 15, top 20. Auburn, I don't know. Are they better? Sure. How much better? I don't know. I mean, they are 3-2, but they're 0-2 in conference play.
He's running for his life.
Well, and Arkansas's done really well at getting after the quarterback in terms of hurries, but they're not doing so great in getting sacks, actually bringing the guy down to the field. So maybe they can disrupt some timing there. You know, here's the good news. You already played Ole Miss, right? All you have left of the top 7 teams in the SEC right now, you only play 2 of them. It's A&M, and then I'm sorry, 3. I forget about Missouri, and then kind of LSU's hanging around there a little bit. If you're just talking about wins and losses,
yeah.
I guess Tennessee's tied at 4-1, but I'm kind of with you with Tennessee. Like, they have their own set of issues. Their defense has been a little questionable at times this year, but in other words, you're not playing I don't know that maybe 1 or 2 of these teams left that you have on your schedule are legitimate playoff contenders. Legitimate playoff contenders. A&M's better. A&M is a better football team than what they were a year ago. They look a little bit more complete on the offensive side of the ball. The good news is you've got them at home. You've got Auburn at home, and you got Mississippi State at home. But again, the struggle is you got to go to Austin. Well, you got to go to Knoxville. You got to go, and then later on you go to Baton Rouge and then to Austin. Then you close things out against Missouri. I don't think Missouri is a playoff team, but they have impressed me. They have actually been pretty good. They are 5-0. If you're 5-0 at this point in the year in this league, even though they've only played 1 conference game, there's something going on. Like, you're doing something right. I mean, when's the last time Arkansas was 5-0? I mean, let's be real. How often does that happen, right?
Should have been this year.
Well, at least should have won those 2 for sure. Should have started off 4-0. But there's it's hard to spin it like, oh, well, this is the easier part of their schedule when it's not technically.
It's because the 5th hardest remaining schedule in college football.
Yeah, it's top. Yeah,
that's what it's considered today. The 5th hardest remaining schedule in college football.
And I think it'll drop. I just don't know how much. I worry about Mississippi State. Like, Mississippi State really could be, even though they've got a couple of losses and they are 0-2 in conference. Well, they're still good. Their defense swarms. I mean, they just do things right on the defensive side of the ball. Offense, they've got a little bit of a quarterback issue, but still, that tempo of that offense is it is just so boom, 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 boom. That worries me with Arkansas's defense. But I guess really, if you get 2 wins out of that, and let's say it does remain somewhere in the top 10, because that's very possible as far as strength of schedule or whatever with the remaining games. You get 2 wins out of that, that means you're beaten. Most likely, that means you've probably beaten Auburn and Mississippi State, would be my guess if I had to pull the 2.
Sure.
And if you hang around all these other games, like Petrino said today on Chuck and Bo's show, he said, we need to be in a position where we're going into the 4th quarter and we're in a position to win that game. And if that's the case, and he finds a couple of dubs, he finds a couple of wins, yeah, I think not only do I think he's a legitimate candidate, I think he might be the top candidate for the head coaching job if he does that. But again, he can't get blown out, and you got to win a couple of games. You got to be in every one of these games. and that seems like a very tall order.
Well, it's funny, when you think about, you should be able to rationalize with a bunch of 18 to 21-year-olds. You should be able to just say, okay, Sam lost you. Notre Dame shouldn't have been a blowout. You gave up on us.
Mm-hmm.
You gave up on Sam. You gave up on me. You should be able to say, I don't care if you want to leave. If you want to leave Arkansas, be gone at the end of the year. But for now, use me like I'm going to use you. I'm going to use you to keep the job. You use me to get paid by somebody else, and then get out of here if you don't want to be
Yeah.
there. But go out there and hit somebody, and hit them so hard you knock their shoes off. And that way you get paid when you leave. And good luck to you. Peace out.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can get through to a locker room, we hung around with Ole Miss. They're legitimate. We hung around with Memphis. We should have beat them, and we would have hung around with Notre Dame if Sam didn't lose the locker room. And so that's kind of where I stand with that, is he's got to be able to rationalize with these guys and just get clear. Like, I don't care if you leave, but make money on the way out. Use me, let me use you, and let's help each other.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Which he's basically said
Right.
that, you need film, which is why they haven't had any transfers, that, and, you've burned your red shirt, so you can't. So, I mean, you need film, and leaving the team doesn't do anybody any good. You might as well stick it out. And that's what that's the situation that they're in. However, I kind of wonder when because I think L's are going to start stacking up. I think they are going to lose some, probably, those last 3 games. Well, hell, I mean, Tennessee to A&M, good Lord, but those last 3 games, when the L's start stacking up, how much more of the rope do they let go? And how many of them are just like, forget it. I'm not doing myself any favors hanging around here. I might as well go ahead and head into the portal. I kind of wonder what that looks like those last few games of the season.
Sure.
But going back really quick to this Missouri coordinator, Kirby Moore, did you have any thoughts on that? Was there anything about that you thought was interesting?
No, I expect to hear names that we didn't expect for them to interview. I'm not excited about it at all. But they've got to interview somebody. Even whether they have made a decision that we could go on with Bobby, or whether they're actually interviewing some other guys around the country that they want to keep quiet. Let's say it's a Lashley that they want to keep quiet. They've got to throw some name out there and look like they're doing something. So they're going to interview some people that were like, okay, great, you interviewed Kirby Moore, big deal. I got so excited. I thought it was stupid, but I got so excited when you texted that earlier. And I saw it in my texts, Arkansas interviewed Kirby, and I was like, wait, Kirby Smart? What? And then I read the rest of the sentence, and I was like, okay. I was getting my
that ain't going to happen. But
no, I know.
They, I kind of thought the same thing, as far as like, okay, well, this is a little underwhelming, but I also get like you said, they got to interview somebody, and they have to go through the process. And to be on the record, listen, I think Tim and I both agree on this. He is not a legitimate candidate.
I don't think so.
This is clearly, hell, for all we know, this might have been Drinkowitz telling him, hey, why don't you try it out, try an interview, just try it out. I think this would obviously be the first time he's probably ever put in for a head coaching job, I would imagine, considering this dude graduated from Boise State like in I think it was sometime in the 2000s, I think. But he his first coaching gig was College of Idaho, and then he as a wide receiver coach in 2014, and in 2015, 2016 he was a GA at Washington, and then he went to Fresno State and eventually was promoted. He was the passing game coordinator for a year or two, and then he was fully promoted to the quarterback coach / offensive coordinator. So, I don't think Kirby Moore is a legitimate option. Again, to me, it would shock me if Drinkowitz was like, no, I had nothing to do with that. I didn't know he was interviewing or something. That would actually surprise me. I feel like Drinkowitz probably was like, hey, get your feet wet. Just go check out an interview, even though Drinkowitz, has kind of owned Arkansas. Why not, let his coordinator come down here and get an interview? But again, it's not a legitimate. It's not. And that one of the reasons why I wanted, I told you before the live, like, it's obviously something worth talking about, but I also had text messages from people like, bro, is this a sign of things to come? Is Kirby Moore like, is this really? And that's ultimately what led me to thinking about, well, how attractive? Let's pretend like that's true. It's not. I don't think it is. I think, again, this is just people getting their feet wet, kind of starting the process. So no need to freak out. But if it were true, I could see why someone would be like, oh my God, if this is what we expect, Kirby Moore, who's, not that old and he's really young. He's only been a coordinator in the SEC for about 2-3 years. And we're interviewing this guy who, by the way, we know he's only calling the play sheet. It's not his play sheet. It's Drinkowitz's play sheet.
Yeah.
So, wow. Is it possible that this is what's, we're going to get, this is who the type of coach that we're going to be interviewing is coordinators that haven't been around for more than a couple of years at schools like Mizzou. And I also don't think that's true. I also don't think that that's what's going to happen. But
if you're going to do that, you keep Bobby, right?
Oh God.
I mean,
exactly.
You don't get rid of Bobby Petrino for Kirby Moore. That's the point.
Yeah.
Bobby.
I guess it might depend on, again, you would keep Bobby, but if that were going through Hunter's mind, it would be like, I would hope he was in communication to somebody around Drinkowitz, like who's responsible for that offense being so great this year? Because last year it was good, but it wasn't this good. I mean, it wasn't top 10 in both categories, scoring and total offense. And that's what they are right now. And is it something worth just bringing, I say bringing him in, they did it over a phone call. Maybe he's picking his brain a little bit. I don't know. But
so what if they're talking to him for offensive coordinator for Bobby?
Well, that would be interesting.
You bring him in and he has the insight on Missouri. It's not like people don't do that with players all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Colby Smith is in that role right now. He's the interim offensive coordinator / running backs coach. Colby Smith has a history at Louisville, obviously, where Petrino got his first head coaching gig at the college level. But that could be the case. Maybe Bobby's like, hey, I'm interested in that guy. Give him an interview so we can maybe figure out maybe he can come be my coordinator. But, Petrino, it's his play. It's the same thing as Drinkowitz, right? It's his offense. It's his playbook. He's just going to call the sheet. And I'm going to have final vetoing power. But I did think that this was interesting. I tried to reach out, find out like what to expect moving forward, just from a caliber of coaching interview perspective. And really, it's just a toss up. We don't know. And obviously you've got guys like, again, Kirby Moore, who is, they're still playing their damn season. How many more guys are you going to be able to do that with? And how prepared are you going to be going into November? Like, where are you going to be at with the amount of interviews that you've had starting in October? What caliber of, like, who are we going to interview next? And what does this look like going into November? Because I feel like you need to have a pretty damn good idea of what you're doing by that point, that final home stretch as you get through November. Because we know, again, those losses are going to start to rack up. Fans are going to want, okay, again, if let's say Petrino, again, a lot of this hinges on his success or lack of. If he's losing, fans are going to want results. Like, what are you doing, Hunter, or whoever the hell, assuming Hunter isn't fired by then? What are you guys doing for an offensive coordinator, or for a head coach? What's going on? What's the deal? I mean, we're getting into our final 2-3 games left of the season. What's the news? You fired Pittman after Notre Dame, so what are we doing now? You fired him back in September, and now it's November, and it's towards the end of November. What's going on? So I am very curious to see how long and how quick and how many interviews they actually have between now and, moving forward.
Yeah. I agree with David's comment. That was just a due diligence interview.
It was. It's exactly what it was.
Interview for sure.
I agree. I don't see David's comment. I would put it on screen, but I don't see it.
It's at the bottom.
Is it at the bottom? Is that over? Oh, there it is. Yeah. I kept scrolling up. Yeah, that was a due diligence interview. That's exactly what it was. And again, I had people that were like panicking. I had someone text me. They're like, "Oh my God, this is the caliber. We're in trouble, Ty. We're in trouble. Tell me tell me I'm freaking out over nothing. I thought actually I could make that into a show and talk about it. It's obviously news. Heartbroken Hogs says, Ty, you have to consider that right now you can't interview active head coach. Well, of course, in person because it would.
But this wasn't even in person, right? It was a video.
It was a phone call. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are as far as. I don't think you can legally within NCAA guidelines. I don't think you can interview for another job while you're a sitting head coach elsewhere. But again, like this is the situation that you're in. You're kind of up against the wall here. While you did move away from Pittman, you can't. I don't think you can actually interview other sitting head coaches at other schools. However, we all know there is such a thing as proxies. There is such a thing as people around the head coach. And again, we go back to the Rhett Lashley stuff, right? You remember when Paul Feinbaum was saying that Rhett had his fingers in his paws in Little Rock and was
Sam Pittman.
So, I mean, who knows, right? Like this thing could work out behind the scenes and we just don't know. And by then, if there's no smoke around any coach, if there's no smoke, that's what I'm really talking about. I'm not necessarily saying if you're not interviewing Rhett Lashley right now, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if we're not getting legitimate smoke that there's something going on behind the scenes by November, it might be trouble. I mean, I don't know, but it could be that they're that good too. If they're going with a third party search committee, because apparently that's the way you go if you want to keep things under wraps. So there is that side of it as well. Auburn does it all the time. Yeah, maybe they brought him in. Maybe they brought him in just to see if they can get him on their side so he can convince Derkowitz to come to Arkansas. The amount of coaches that are being reported as far as having interest in this job, like Rhett has been rumored to have interest in this job forever. Well, I say forever since he's, for the last, it feels like forever, for a while, like because he's a Springdale guy. And there's more and more names that are coming up. They're like, well, this guy, he's got interest in coming here. He's interested. And, Barry Odom, why wouldn't he be interested, right? Eric Morris at North Texas, Alex Golish, who I think he's the one with the wife who like flies into Arkansas once a month or something. Is that who I'm thinking of? The South Florida head coach?
Yeah.
I think his wife has some kind of connection. She's from here. I think she grew up a diehard Hog fan.
Greenbrier, I think, or something like that.
Yeah. Of course, Bobby Petrino, we know he is interested. The name, someone threw the name Brent Key out there. You're not getting Brent Key out of Georgia Tech. That's his alum. He's not. Just take his name off any list. I would love Brent Key because I think the job he's done at Georgia Tech, it's a similar job that you'd have to do at Arkansas, right? Like really pulling them up. I have heard, and this is just speculation, not anything official, but like Jeff Traylor, who obviously was brought in here with Chad Morris and was a running back coach here, was a great recruiter. You talk about going into Texas and feeling pretty good with him as your running back coach. He is the rumor or the belief is what I have heard is that he would absolutely be interested in the job, but that's nothing official from anybody with any real, super high credibility or anything. I know he's paid under like $3 million, and I don't know his buyout structure, but I think it's actually pretty hefty for a Group of 5 school. It's something like 6 million, 7 million, something like that. So yeah, I mean, the list goes on, and we keep hearing all these names. Of course, Dan Mullen, that's another one, right? We've talked about him before. Oh, he'd be interested. He wants to join the SEC. But a lot of this obviously is not coming from the coach themselves. So, because why would it be at this point in the year? But we keep hearing these names and how interested they are. It kind of makes you wonder, Tim, like do you think they botched this? Do you feel like, yeah, we're hearing all this good stuff now, but later on it's going to end up being maybe it is Kirby Moore? Like, do you feel like they're going to botch this?
I mean, I am hopeful that they don't. There are enough good candidates who want to be here.
Allegedly.
There are enough decent candidates here, not even allegedly, who want to be here, that they shouldn't botch this, but I'd give it a 60-40 right now.
60 that they
60 that they won't, 40 that they
won't.
will still botch this thing.
Anytime, man. I mean, especially with okay, so here's the other thing. This was tweeted by you. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'm sure you guys have. I don't like how it. I think this is it. Brandon Marcello, of course, his name's going to come up often. By the way, we're going to mention him a lot. So Connor Goodson had tweeted that the University of Arkansas is ending its relationship with, blah, 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 what we already talked about. Right. Brandon Marcello says step 1. So does he know something? I mean, is well connected. This is the most connected guy. Like, he's probably more connected than a lot of the local people. In fact, I know he is. And for him to say something like this, step 1. So maybe they do kind of already have their guy, and this is all, everything's going to be smoke until, the kind of deflecting smoke. Like, we're going to hear some name come up as always, or, oh my God, what? No, we don't want him. And then it ends up being somebody else. But I would recommend you guys follow Brandon Marcello and probably turn on notifications for him throughout this whole thing. That's who I'd recommend for you to follow on all this coaching stuff, because he's got his finger on the pulse for sure. I think you stick with Bobby P before you go with Moore. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't, boy, you got to know something the rest of the public doesn't if you didn't. I mean, now, listen, are we going to be saying the same thing if they get blown out every game?
No, I mean, well, yeah, I still think Bobby Petrino over Kirby Moore. Yes, that's not going to change for me, even if we lose every game by 21.
I meant like the public, though. Do you think they'll still have that mindset?
I don't know. I don't know. Here's the thing. The offense really isn't the problem. Yeah, I know we talked last week about they quit scoring in the second half. But again, if you're averaging 38 points a game or 42 points a game, you shouldn't have to score a whole lot more than that to win games. The defense is the problem. So replacing a Bobby Petrino as interim head coach with an offensive coordinator and not really addressing the defense sufficiently isn't going to do anything to fix the problem, in my opinion. In my opinion, you have Bobby putting up 500 yards a game plus. You go out and find a defensive guy. If you want to keep Bobby at offensive coordinator or whatever, go find a defensive guy to be the head coach.
I wonder if he would entertain that. I wonder if Bobby would entertain that idea, like being retained as the coordinator, because you've got, I mean, hell, if you're a defensive minded coach or whatever the hell you are, and you've got KJ Jackson, who's been in the system now for 2 years. Again, we don't know everything there is to know about him just yet. Like, we need to see him on the field more before we get any kind of clue as to what he's capable of. And even that might not be fair to throw him in if something, God forbid, were to happen to Green. That may not be a fair assessment.
But we do know what Bobby does with quarterbacks.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like, maybe you would consider keeping Bobby around. And would he entertain that? Like, hey, okay, we're not going with you as a head coach, but would you consider hanging around as a coordinator?
Because we're going to get a defensive-minded coach and fix this defense permanently, then you don't have to score 45 points a game and put up 550 yards a game. You can, but you don't have to win anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're doing right now. We're just trying to score as much as we can. Our offense is tired of having to score on every possession to keep us in games. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And it puts so much pressure on them. And it feels like that's when Taylor Green can sometimes be at his worst. When there's pressure on him or on that offense to carry. And you got to wonder now, would you want to draft a guy like that? Probably not. But I mean, to be fair, like, he's kind of been up against it the last 2 years. I mean, the defense wasn't great. And it's weird because people talk like Travis Williams was something pretty good at one point in time here. And I'm like, no, actually the defense
he had games.
He had games.
Put together great season.
Yeah.
He put together a couple of good games.
He did last year.
Yeah. But he did not have great seasons of defense.
Yeah. And make sure you guys hit the like button. Sharing is caring. Make sure you hit that share button as well. Share with your boys. Or maybe you got a wife that's really into Arkansas football. I don't know. Family members you haven't talked to in years. Tell them they're over here talking
Travis's
about
wife is probably a bigger Hog fan than he is, honestly.
She probably is, yeah.
I'm not lying.
Because
she doesn't switch on a loss to OU like Travis does.
Oh gosh.
We're right out, Trav
We're right in the middle of who you gonna get. We're right in the middle of all that. Yeah, that's right. I saved it as a sound on here. It's a sound. It's an official sound now. As long as I'm on StreamYard. Who you gonna get? Tusk Talk with Try. You're close, Mason. I get it. You're probably like 8 or 9 beers in. Tusk Talk with Try. Oh, fair. That's fair. The greatest Arkansas podcast in Arkansas bar none. I do appreciate it, Mason. Thank you. Who was better or worse, T. Will or Rob Smith? Rob Smith had like one pretty decent season, if I remember right. When he had was that when he had Paul Rhodes in the secondary, coach of the secondary? He had like one decent year. Travis Williams didn't have a. I'm sorry, I've just never. After that first year, I thought I saw some good things, and I was like, okay, I'm on the T. Will bus because he's going to get better. And they got worse, and then they got worse again. So it just was never it never worked out. If you hire a guy like Gullish, no way. If you wait. Oh, okay. I think he's talking about a Petrino. David's talking about Petrino here. If you're going to keep him on, I guess.
Oh
yeah. That makes sense.
Rumor has it Barry Odom still has a house here because he wants to come back so bad that he's maintained his house here.
Yeah, because he's not sold it, right? He hasn't sold the house,
right?
I'm sure he's boys with Hunter. I'm going to be real. I just that hire to me just wouldn't really move the needle. And I don't know, like given I realize he had a good stint at UNLV. He's not off to a great start at Purdue. He would not even be in my top 8.
Well, and his defense got worse over time.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, he did have some decent defenses, but it got worse over time. So
yeah. Oh yeah. When he had healthy players the first half of the season, all 3 years that he was here, it felt like, oh wow, okay, this defense is going to turn the corner. They're going to be great, and they get off to a really good start. And you have an All-American caliber safety who just couldn't stay healthy. But when he was healthy, like that defense was dangerous. He had super seniors at linebacker, and it felt like this was really where we needed to be. We're headed in the right direction. It ended up just being a giant, like it was just more of the same.
I think Catalan ended up playing a full season in his career
at UNLV, right?
No, I mean like out of all the games together, add them all up, made up one full season out of his career. 2 games this team, 1 game that team, 2 games this team. He finally made it to 12 before he graduated.
Yeah,
that guy.
Arky 56. That's Pops. That's old dad right there. That's
Pops.
That's Pops. That's
oh damn.
That's old Hudson right
Don't
there.
want oh damn.
Everyone's on the Tulane guy, and I get it. I get that hire, Summerall. I get it, and I'm coming around to it. I still don't think I'd have him in my top 3. I mean, again, I like Dan Mullen as my number 1, but you could poke holes like everybody will, right? If you name someone that's not in their top 5, top 3, they're going to poke all kinds of holes in your guy. And then it's like, okay, let's hear your guys. And then you hear their guys and you're like, okay, I can poke all kinds of holes in those guys. Like, and you've got one with Summerall. The guy's he's never been a P4 coach, right? He's only ever been a group of 5 guy, but I do like him. And I'm coming around to Summerall. I really am. I like him. I do think, I don't know Kentucky's situation. I don't know where Stoops is at on his buyout. I've been told they've got some money that's just not come around for them lately, and that it could, if they could find a way to get John Summerall there and finally walk away from Stoops. But I don't know, right? And I think if it came down to it, who do you think he's going to go to? He's going to go to Kentucky where he played football.
Yeah.
He's going to go to the alumni. I mean, it's just it's why you're not going to get the Georgia Tech coach whose name has come up a couple of times, not really anywhere else, but I have seen his name come up here and there.
I agree with Steven. I would take Silverfield over the Tulane coach, over Summerall.
Yeah, Silverfield just
He doesn't have SEC experience, but he does have experience beating the SEC, not just Arkansas.
He does.
So,
yeah. Needs to be a current coach who has had success in NIL era, says Tusky 6693. And I know like every one of these live shows kind of devolve into this where we just talk about all these head coaches and we throw names up against the wall and hope that one sticks. But yeah, again, it's going to have a lot to do with how attractive this job, how attractive it is. And again, that's going to be our next here in a minute. That's going to be how our last little segment. Tim, you pointed this out before we went live earlier in our group chat, and it was interesting. Arkansas moving forward, again, talking about this year, they're only favored against Tennessee at 17%. They're only favored against, I say favored. They're not favored at all. Tennessee's favored at 83%. A&M's favored at 71% versus Arkansas. Auburn, now that needle has moved. They're now at 59.2% in favor of Auburn winning in Fayetteville. Arkansas's only game left that they are favored to win is Mississippi State at 60%. 60%. LSU, that has gone up. I think at the beginning of the year, it was 69%. And now it's up to 75. I think that's right. 76.
Mm-hmm.
Texas has moved up. It's now at 85.5%, even with how average at best Manning has looked. And that offense sometimes looks anemic to scoring. They've got them favored at nearly 86%. And then Mizzou is favored at 67.6, whereas coming into the year, Arkansas was favored at 53. What were you going to say?
You just get the feeling, though, that they love Texas because it's Texas, not for any legitimate reason that it would get better than what it already was.
You're talking about that bias, aren't you?
There is Texas bias. There's Texas bias across the media, across the college football landscape. So, and literally Texas bias plus Manning bias, like they'll make a plus sign there, plus Manning bias adds up to they should 100% beat everybody and they should be number one in the nation to start the season. And there was no real reason. There was no evidence that Arch Manning was going to be, Peyton reborn. There was no evidence for that at all, but there is a Texas and a Manning bias, and they happen to benefit from both right now. So,
yeah, I agree. There's no way on earth you could look at Archie Manning play and be like, oh yeah, I'd favor them at 70% versus anybody.
Mm-mm.
There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell. Or I'm sorry, 85% was what they're favored against Arkansas currently, and this is according to the matchup predictor at ESPN. By the way, we should have.
Were they predicted 85% against what was it, UTEP or UTSA? Who did they play early in the season?
Probably, yeah.
I mean,
it's overwhelming, and I think too some of it probably is talent, right? Like, yeah, I'm sure that factors into the equation. But listen, Ole Miss right now, you would look at as being pretty talented, and I was fully wrong about Ole Miss. I guess they are a legitimate playoff. I still think we need to wait and see on them, but Arkansas should have beat them in Oxford, for crying out loud.
Yeah, and then that came down to us. They didn't beat us. We beat ourselves by fumbling,
which they had a habit of doing last year as well. I don't know. Like I understand from a defensive, that could be the only reasonable argument right now. Not so much that Sam Pittman's not there, the guy who didn't know what to do. God love the guy. All right. I hope he just walks off into the sunset, retires, and has the best life down in Hot Springs and runs for mayor, and maybe he actually wins something by a few votes. I don't know, but I honestly, he's a good dude.
Wins by one.
Wins by one. Finally does it. He closes the gap. Finally. But the guy that's really responsible for any success that this team has had is the head coach. Interim, but he's the head coach. So, like, the argument would have to be on the defensive side of the ball. And hell, even they were just, it wasn't working. Those players on defense definitely let go of the rope. And you know what? The staff that was responsible for putting that product, on the field, they're gone. However, now you've upgraded a bunch of analysts, and some of them have a lot of experience, right? I mean, some of those guys on that staff actually are pretty good. Like, you look at their background, you've got NFL background and all that, but still, like, they weren't the head, they weren't the defense coordinator, they weren't the head D-line coach, they weren't coaching the linebackers. That would be the only way. That'd be the only argument if you were ESPN trying to tell me why you favor Texas at almost 86% over Arkansas, whether it's a simulation, whatever they claim they do for these predictors, whatever the case may be. I want to know why you think that they're favored at that high. And I would even venture to say, like, I mean, they're giving Mississippi State about a 40% chance. And that I could maybe understand because their defense, Lord have mercy, those dudes swarm to the ball. Watch them play on defense. They're a different team this year. But still, like, that's in Fayetteville. Mississippi State still isn't really passing the smell test. Like, they're maybe a bowl team. That's probably what Mississippi State is at best, is a bowl eligible team. Maybe they can sneak a 7th win in. But I feel like, again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, I think Petrino finds a way to get a couple of dubs. And probably against Auburn or Mississippi State or both. So, yeah, the whole matchup predictor thing, like, I get it. People get frustrated with it. Tennessee is favored, and we're going to talk about them on Wednesday. They're favored at 83%, which that is one I don't think I'm going to argue with. I don't think I'm going to argue with Tennessee being favored that high. I don't know.
No, but again, I mean, they do lead the league in turnovers. So
they do.
It maybe shouldn't quite be that high. Not that we have a great defense at forcing turnovers.
Yeah, very true.
But
they're not, unless the ball's thrown directly to one of our defensive backs because of a silly ass wide receiver pass play. Which
I still feel like if Madden was calling an Arkansas defensive game, John Madden, he would be like, whap it down, because we don't pick things off very often. We don't force fumbles very often.
Now here's a guy, turducken. Yeah, I don't know, man. If we go by this, that looks like a bunch of blowouts and then one win. And then again, that question comes right back up. Is that enough for Petrino to keep his job? Probably not. But
probably not. I don't think so.
Again, though, he's got to be like, they've got to be competitive. They can't get blown out. Like, I can understand maybe Tennessee or maybe A&M, because damn, that offense just does look pretty good. Mississippi State's very up tempo, very fast. I feel like Arkansas should be favored to win that right now. But then at the end of the day, here's the actual, like, how you really structure this argument really is that you don't have one, because we don't know what this team's going to look like. Are they going to play for these former analysts and guys that didn't have a huge role in defense before? Are they going to play for them? Are they going to play for Petrino? Right. And then what about the offense? Petrino now, and he talked about it again earlier today. He said, now my focus isn't just the offense. Now it's the entire team. I've got to go in and out of meetings. So thankfully they've had a bye week, but to kind of get things straightened out. But there's just so many questions, and Bobby is up against it. I mean, let's just be real. This is one hell of a steep hill to climb.
I think the finish of that sentence was important, though. He said, I have to be in and out of meetings, but I'm lucky to have someone I can trust in. I can't remember who's calling the offense right now.
Oh, it's Colby Smith. Well, Colby Smith's the interim.
Chris was in my head for whatever reason. It's Colby Smith. He said, I'm lucky to have someone I can trust in Colby Smith, that I can walk out of the room and it's going to continue. The conversation is going to continue. They're not going to stop and start looking at their watches or their phones, but he's going to continue the conversation. I trust him. So, I mean, I do think that's important. From the offensive side, he's got someone in there who's going to keep that going, his expectations met.
Yeah.
Versus the defensive side's a little more of a question. So
someone who knows the offense and knows
his expectations.
Yeah. And don't forget, Ronnie Fouch is still coaching the receivers, who's been with Bobby for the last few years. There's plenty of familiarity left on the offense. You still have Mateos coaching the offensive line. Love the job they've done. But on defense, like the only guy they kept was the secondary coach, Nick Perry.
Yeah.
Like they moved Shea Hendricks. He's now the interim coach over the safeties. And Jay Hayes is interim defensive line coach. So like it's just it's very fascinating because we've just never seen anything like this where an interim head coach just wipes out one side of the ball like that. Like, holy shit. Okay. No, he's for real. He really wants to get this all figured out. Good luck, Chris Wilson. My God, does Chris Wilson, the interim defense coordinator, have his hands full? Oh my gosh. Like that might also be another argument to have, right? Like if they do keep these games close and the defense figures it out a little bit, I'm not saying they're great, but if they figure it out and all of a sudden they're actually forcing 3-and-outs, they're getting takeaways, they're getting sacks, they're disrupting the timing and the entirety of the offense, they're messing it all up because they're mucking everything up in the backfield, like they're playing sound defensive SEC football. Is that a conversation we're having about, okay, then if they're doing that, they're clearly winning games. And is Chris Wilson your future defensive coordinator?
I mean, maybe. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about Jay Hayes, not even in our private chat.
I know, we really haven't. He's got a hell of a background.
Yeah.
He's been all over the place. He's been in the NFL, CFL. I think he's been with the Steelers, the Vikings. Like this dude's got a hell of a background.
I mean, it could make some difference between hurries and sacks. Maybe.
Really good. Maybe his verbiage makes a little more sense. I don't know. I always wondered. I wasn't shocked that Deke Adams was one of the names mentioned. If you were to tell me, yeah, they left only one guy, I don't know that I would have guessed it would be the secondary coach, but it wouldn't have shocked me that Deke Adams was one of those guys because
I want to know what bad stuff Scott Fountain has on the University of Arkansas that dude can
he survived
the single worst coach on the staff behind Sam Pittman and survive. I mean, okay, like Travis Williams lost the defense, but Scott Fountain has literally given up his special teams have given up punt returns or kick returns. They've gotten penalties in every single game.
Penalties.
They're so bad, and he's such a horrible coach, and yet he survived.
The only argument for Fountain, well, I guess there's technically two.
He's a good recruiter.
Well, he's a good recruiter, and he's got a couple of kickers in the NFL. I guess that would be it. But I have pointed out his mistakes since year 2. I said, I can't believe we're in year 2 and we're still having mistakes from last year on special teams. And it felt like at times that's what that team in 2021 was kind of missing, like doing better on special teams, not making these kind of silly mistakes or not, or burning timeouts because you don't have everybody on the field. They've had to do that at least twice in the last couple of years. And that's one too many. How do you not have, when you're on special teams, when you need, how is that not communicated with the staff and with your players? What the hell is going on?
Right.
So and
plus,
by the way,
the guy who's supposed to be able to return punts at an All-American level, but you can't block for him to save his life.
Yeah.
I mean, blocking still part of special teams.
Cam Little saved
him up, for God's sake. Yeah, for real, Cam Little did.
Well, they think Starzik. They think very highly of Starzik, and some of the stuff I was hearing out of camp was, he's struggled, but then like the other kickers were too, and then I guess he had a good couple of weeks, and it kind of turned the narrative, and that's But I think they recruited Starzik with the intention, like, you're going to be our kicker as a freshman, and not that he's been bad. I mean, I'm not trying to bash Starzik. I think he's actually been okay. I wonder again,
it's just at a bad time, like the timing of him missing us.
Yeah, I don't think too. If they do retain Bobby, Scott Fountain will not be the special teams coach. I don't think that'll happen. I think and that might seem fairly obvious to say, but again, kind of going like with what you're saying, The guy has survived. I don't want to say, but I don't think he would survive the next staff. I think Fountain would be out. I think Scott Fountain would be out because number one, I don't know that Petrino. One of the things about keeping Fountain was being able to recruit like east of the Mississippi, and I don't know that Bobby. I know he dipped into. Man, I can't even remember. It's been so long ago. I think he dipped into Florida a little bit. Michael Smith wasn't his running back, but Michael Smith did play. He was from Florida. I don't know if you guys remember that. Michael Smith had 1,000 yards that year. Petrino's first year here, they produced 1,000-yard rusher back when that was not the easiest thing to do. And Michael Smith, his red shirt, I think technically it was his red shirt freshman year, and he rushed for 1,000. But he was from Florida, but he wasn't Bobby's guy. But I think Bobby did dip into Florida a little bit. I just cannot remember. But he was one of those coaches that would go JUCO route, and then he would also go, Dallas Fort Worth. He recruited the traditional pipelines. Picked up some great players out of Texas, obviously. How many? So Hog Blitz is coming in here late, and he's asked this question like 500 times. How many wins does Petrino have to have for? Or question mark, 4 question mark. No, I don't think he needs 4 wins. I don't think he needs 4. I don't. I think he's got to win at least 2, and he's got to
across the board.
He's got to be. You've got to be in everyone. There's no blowouts. I think they got to be competitive. I just don't. Like how in your right mind would you walk away from that if you're still producing on offense? You turn the defense around, and you find a way to win a couple games, and then you're competitive in Baton Rouge, in Austin. Although I think you and I agree, you better be in that game, hopefully. But if you could stick around with A&M, who right now might be one of the most legitimate threats out of the SEC in the playoffs, so if you could stick around those games and you win a couple, you go from an embarrassing season. Not that 4 wins is not embarrassing, it is, but it's certainly less embarrassing, and that's a couple conference wins. I think Petrino survives that. Now, I don't think 1 will be enough. Then you start talking about like where do you draw the line in the sand, right? Like, well, maybe he wins 1, but he's competitive in all the others. I think you got to win 2,
more than 1.
Yeah.
You got 2 winnable games on the schedule for sure.
Yeah.
Auburn is winnable. Mississippi State is winnable.
Oh my God.
Oh boy. You want me to read that for you?
Go ahead.
Scott Fountain funded the Iraqi war. It says 13 July.
That's July. Yeah, he's in our Discord. I actually had Flying Burrito with him the other day. I had Flying Burrito with him and Brady, aka Aragorn, out of our Discord on when was that? Was that Saturday? Or was that Sunday?
Game day with no game.
I think it must have been. Yeah, it was Saturday. I get my days mixed up. Yeah.
They when the bye week conquered us.
Arkansas 28, bye week 32. It's good seeing July. I enjoy it. Like anytime people are like, hey, Ty, let's go meet up, I generally will go meet up. Ask Travis out of the blue one night. He asked me to go hang out with him at the Odd Soul. And I was there. I was there like 30 minutes later. So you guys know me if you're in the area, and I semi know you.
It's weird. I need you to meet up with me because I have bottles of dough ball.
Oh, dude, I still have a dough ball.
Discontinued dough ball.
I've got to get through one. Flying Burrito. You never heard of Flying Burrito Fish? Bro, steak nachos. They're not a sponsor, but go help them out, man. They've got one location left in Fayetteville. Right there on 71. It is the steak nachos are, oh my Lord, they're so good.
Yeah.
Ty, do you think we make a hire before the final regular season game is played? Well, Hog Blitz, who you gonna get? That's the question, right? That's the $1 million question. I don't know. People ask me that. I don't know. I would honestly, I love the idea of having everything. And again, I don't know that we're going to know this, but having your staff intact, ready to rock and roll come December. That's what I like. That's what I want them to do. But sorry, Ty, not drunk, just old Oh, talking about Mason's mistake earlier. That's all right. That's all right. I'm glad you're here, Mason. So let's end it on our question of the day. How attractive, Tim, is the Arkansas job? I guess we could say now, or we could say by the end of the year, because games do matter. But how attractive? And again, this is our post live comment section question of the day. How attractive is the Arkansas job? I have currently, but just tell me whatever. However you want to answer that question. But how attractive do you think this job is?
Man, help me think through this. Help me think through this just a little bit. What jobs do we know are open?
Right now,
UCLA is open.
UCLA. Florida may not be anymore. I don't know. I know that it was rumored that they felt like boosters would rally and try to get rid of Napier, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen now. I mean,
they beat Texas, but Texas has proven not to be number one, so
they're not in top 10. Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech's open.
UCLA, Virginia Tech.
Kentucky might be open. Florida might be open.
Who are the other? That's going to kill me. I know there's like two more.
I mean, Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. Yeah.
I think Oklahoma State is not remotely attractive. I don't know that Virginia Tech is particularly attractive. I mean, of the jobs that are open today, Arkansas is probably currently the most attractive job. UCLA, not that attractive.
I think it's more attractive than Virginia Tech, but I have heard, and I think it was Marcelo that made this argument that they're addressing their NIL and their goal is to have they've got a plan or whatever, but that was like a week ago. So maybe that's changed. I would still put Arkansas in front of Virginia Tech.
I think Arkansas might be the most attractive job out there, but I'm not sure that makes it an attractive job. Like it's the ugliest single girl out there.
Fair.
I mean,
LSU could be open. That is fair, Hog Blitz. And Auburn. Auburn could be.
Auburn, Kentucky, and Florida, and maybe LSU could be open, and then it becomes a problem. If LSU's open, that's the belle of the ball. If Florida's open, that's a really attractive job. Auburn, and then Kentucky, and then, well, I don't know. I think Arkansas is probably Arkansas and Kentucky are kind of like the basketball schools that know they need football.
That's true. Yeah.
We need football, but we're a basketball school. So they might be about on the same. Maybe Arkansas is a little more attractive because we have better facilities.
Yeah.
Man,
well,
I would say out of a 1 out of 10. How attractive is Arkansas?
we could go the scale. We could do that. We do 1 to 10.
Man, I don't
like a 6.5.
The way that it sits right now, maybe a 5.5 to 6.5. Honestly, now if NIL changes, if Hunter Yurachek's gone, it might be more attractive. Things we have going for us, we are still an SEC program. As long as Auburn, Kentucky, LSU, Florida don't fire their coaches, that's a big deal.
Head coaching jobs opening, this is why you got to get out in front of this so quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if there's 5 SEC teams looking for, I don't think we're as attractive a job.
I think they can. I really think, and we could argue this is why it's so important with all the changes coming to college football. I think Arkansas can position themselves to being, a top 7, maybe. I mean, listen, after Petrino, and of course the timing there matters when they had to fire him. That matters. I mean, of course it does, right? I mean, spring camp. I mean, my God, before that, like, how the hell do you make that change then and there and go get a coach that would find the job attractive? But that ultimately led you. I don't care what Brett Bielema says about, that letter he wrote Jeff Long about doing the right thing with Petrino, blah, 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 blah. He'd been to 3 straight Rose Bowls, and Arkansas was attractive enough to him to come take the job. I think Arkansas at the time, despite what happened in 2012, Arkansas was a top 6 job in the SEC. Somewhere in there. Top 6, maybe you could float them around top 8. It was a top 6 job.
Well, you have back-to-back 10-2 seasons.
21 games won in 2010, 2011.
2 years, yeah. Yeah, I think that makes a difference. And I mean, I don't think that Bobby really should have been considered leaving the program in a dumpster fire. John L. Smith is really, to me, more responsible for that dumpster fire. He had the same talent that went 10-2. He was just an idiot. So when the most important thing he could do in a press conference is go, smile, guys, just smile. I know we lost, but smile. Shut up, man. Be a coach. So the players were there. The talent was there. We had gone 10-2 and back-to-back seasons. The program was in a better place than it had ever been.
Yeah.
I mean, Bobby was an embarrassment for what he did, but from a program standpoint, we should have picked up and carried on, and we didn't.
Yeah, and I stand by, like, Jeff Long, or excuse me, John L. Smith. I don't think it mattered who coached in 2012. I think that was Petrino's team inside and out. Nobody else could steer the ship because it was his ship. And I think no matter what, like, you could have brought in, I don't care who the hell, maybe short of like a Nick freaking Saban or something.
Well, we retained Paul, and even Paul couldn't make that ship run.
Yeah, Paul Petrino was the offensive coordinator that year.
Coordinator, and couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I do think you're right. And that's the difference, I think, between what happened with Bobby and what happened with Sam Pittman is Sam Pittman has literally left us in the worst shape. He left us in the same shape that he came to.
Yeah.
A 2-10 type of team, undisciplined, no heart, no drive, soft. That's what he came in with. That's what he's leaving us. And I think that's the difference. So, I don't think it's as attractive as it could be, but if Bobby finishes out the season and wins a couple games and shows that these guys can have heart, can be disciplined, can be coached, they are coachable, it becomes a more attractive job if he wins a couple of games.
Yeah. If you
don't feel like it's a lost cause building this team up from the ground if you see a coach come in and actually drive them forward and make them play better.
Well, and that goes back to, did Pittman leave the job better than he found it?
No, he did not.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think he did?
No, I'm so tired of hearing that. Like, I am so tired of hearing that. It was 2-10 when he got here. If he stayed through the end of the season, it's 2-10 again. He did not leave us in a better place. He actually probably left us in a little bit of a worse place than when he got here, because where we were a laughingstock with Chad Morris, now it just looks like we can't recruit, can't play, can't bring in a good coach. Now it just looks like the university is incapable, where before it looked like we made a laughingstock hire with Chad Morris.
Yeah.
Today it looks like, well, can the University of Arkansas even afford players? Can they really bring in quality coaches? Now we look inept, where before it looked like we just made a bad hiring decision. So no, Sam left us in a worse place.
Look at Donovan Irish with the Space Ghost Coast to Coast profile picture there. I like that.
Yes. That is 100% right. The wins that he got were off Chad Morris's recruited guys.
And a super senior too. Had some super seniors and yeah. And they won. They won SEC games year one, and again, those were with Chad's guys, which kind of goes
further, though. Like, he was offensive line guru, but until this year, the offensive line progressively got worse under him.
The offensive line? Or did you say offense? Oh,
offensive line.
yeah. No, it did.
Here's Sam. This is what you're known for. You are known for being an offensive line coach.
Yeah.
And progressively worse year after year after year until this year when he brought in someone else to do the job.
I don't know that it's worse than where he found it, because you got to look at how many SEC games that they had won. And to be fair, you're right. They probably could, if he's here, they probably would be staring down the barrel of 2-10. Best case scenario, 3 games, maybe 4 if some
the
teams.
guys already gave up on him on Notre Dame. They weren't coming back for him.
That's kind of the point, right? When you're talking about his, I mean, they let go of the rope. That's usually not a good indicator of a coach who left the job better than where he found it. But I do think it was. It is better. I do think that it is, because you are in a position where you can, or, the names that are being thrown out there, the guys that are quote unquote interested, those weren't coaches that were coming around in 2020. However, I don't think that it's like, if you listen to some shows, they'll tell you, oh, it's so much better than what it was in 20. I don't know that I buy that it's so much better. I do think it's better. And he didn't ask for the NIL. He didn't ask for the transfer portal. That's not stuff that he signed on for, right? But there were other coaches that acclimated to that. There were other coaches that acclimated and made it work. And again, that might be more of a Hunter Yurachek thing than it is a Sam Pittman thing. We also know, Hunter came out and admitted it when he was asked. They did not have the means to facilitate Sam a roster or a depth chart that could compete regularly in the SEC. So some of it is his fault, and some of it it lays on the shoulders of lies on the shoulder of Hunter Yurachek and the booster class, whatever, the millionaires and billionaires who didn't donate, I guess, or the collective that that Ole Miss got going, that had the support of the fans. But why did they have the support of the fans? Because they had Lane Kiffin as a head coach. That's why. They had Sam Pittman, they wouldn't have had that kind of collective. He wasn't an attractive name. Let's be real.
Well, again, though, if Sam's successful, if his coaching is effective, if his recruiting is effective and he's successful, you don't think the money would have been there? I do. I think the money would be there for a guy who was successful. So you're in this year, and we're facing 2-10 and saying, well, Sam doesn't have the money to put together the roster and the staff that he needs. Well, Sam didn't win. That's why he doesn't have the money. If you win, the money will come. Yeah,
if that 2022 season, because that was the year when it was like, okay, we won 9 the year before, we're going to do just as good, if not better. Mm-hmm. And in fact, you went the opposite direction. Tusky says Pittman got the job because nobody else wanted it. Now y'all talking these coaching options. That means Pittman left the program better in a spot. Hold on.
That's actually not true.
Let me answer this, though. I think the reason why you're able to get Sam does play a little bit of a role in that. I agree. But it's because the transfer portal, it's because you're an SEC program and you have the portal, and now we're being told they're going to have the funds to support the next head coach. I think that is what matters. Whereas Pittman didn't have that, right? Now you're going to have that. However, you kind of feel like you really messed up, because coaches might look at, well, Pittman had a year where he didn't win 9 games or 8-9 games, and then the money fell apart. And when they started the whole NIL structure to begin with, which was, again, you could lay the blame at the feet of Hunter to a degree, also to a large degree. But now you've got the portal. Now you can come in and you can bring in your pieces, whatever you want out of the portal. And Arkansas supposedly is going to have the funds to help facilitate that. That is what plays a large role in getting some of these coaches here. John Gruden said it himself at the Little Rock Touchdown Club when he talked about when I know I've got all this money with the Walmart and all that. He said he started off that statement with, I would have had Arkansas in trouble or whatever. We'd be banned, or whatever the exact quote was. I don't remember. But he was talking about, cheating, right? But knowing he would have the resources to do so. And he followed that up with, now you've got the transfer portal. If anything, John Gruden kind of laid it out for you right there why Arkansas is a little bit more attractive, assuming Hunter Yurachek has the funds available that's going to help make Arkansas more attractive. And it appears like that's the case.
That's fair, but the comment on the screen, Pittman got the job because nobody else wanted. That's actually not true. Lane Kiffin wanted the job. We didn't come up with the money for Lane Kiffin. Barry Lunny Jr. wanted the job. He did.
Yeah.
And actually from rumors, from insider rumors, which I almost never have, so I'm so proud to have this one. Barry Lunny Jr. was already told to put together a staff, and when he started looking at his staff, they hired Sam Pittman, and he will not consider coming here until Hunter Yurachek is gone. That's the rumor. It's alleged, but I mean, it's not the case that we went to Sam Pittman because there was nobody who was interested in coming to Arkansas. Nobody wanted to be here. We were just so lucky to get Sam Pittman. That is not the case.
Okay, here's a counter argument to that, though. You've got Sam Pittman, who was here and who was known at the time, didn't really become true as he was a head coach here, but he was known at the time as arguably the greatest offensive line coach, to ever happen, right? I mean, that was certainly what we were sold on, right?
Yeah.
So you have Sam Pittman, who was a part of some really good teams at Georgia, who has SEC background, versus Barry Lunny, who he was a good tight end coach. Like Barry Lunny did not, like when you compare the two, he just didn't. I don't think he was ever a realistic option, unless maybe he'd won some games when he was the interim. But I don't think he was ever seriously considered. Like, not really. Now, maybe now he would be because he's been a coordinator at Illinois for whatever good that's done him. But because we know Brett Bielema, that's his system and his style of play and everything. But I think Sam holds a little bit more weight than Barry
But I
did.
have to ask why. Yeah, great. He was considered a fantastic offensive line coach. How many offensive line coaches are promoted to head coach?
Well, yeah, but I mean, Barry Lunny hadn't even been an offensive coordinator, right? I mean, it's the same thing. He was a positions coach just like Sam, and whose name holds more weight? It's not even close. It's Sam all day long. I would have made the same hire. I would have made the exact same hire if it was between those two. Now, the Lane Kiffin stuff, I don't know that I believe everything that I've heard about how that went down between him and Hunter, and then Lane apparently got somebody involved, an agent got more involved. I don't remember the whole, like, there's a counter offer and Hunter didn't want anything to do with it and he walked. I think he was interested, but a part of me wonders if it wasn't a play to get more money out of another school. Arkansas was not an attractive job in 2020. Let's be real. It was not attractive. It was arguably one of the bottom 3 jobs at the time.
But Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss was scandalized.
They were.
Hugh Freeze. I mean,
Hugh Freezes.
I mean, Ole Miss was riddled with scandal. Granted, we had Chad Morris, but Chad Morris wasn't a scandal. He was just a clown show.
Yeah, he was just terrible.
He was a clown show, but he wasn't a scandal. So
you
can't really hold up Ole Miss to me and be like, that was such a great job versus Arkansas.
But
was it?
At the end of the day, though, I mean, look at the fan support they have in their NIL. Maybe that was something.
100%. That is 100% true.
I mean, they certainly seem to have more pull right now. I'll say this: they at least have more faith in their football program. I mean, hell, they hired Beard to be their basketball coach, and they, look what their baseball team did, a few years ago. They're doing things right, and Arkansas is doing things right also in those other 2 sports. But Ole Miss seems to have it figured out. I'm still surprised Kiffin's still there. I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I don't think that highly of that job. He's made it better. And what a difference one coaching era can make at a school. And I hope that happens for Arkansas. I'm just kind of like you. I don't know that I have all the faith in the world they're going to get it right. But this is true. Jeremy's got a good point.
Go ahead. Dion wanted it. I heard that too, actually.
Yeah. He interviewed, and Hunter loved the interview. That's what was reported. But Dion at the time was coming out of
Jacksonville State.
Was he still there, or was that when he was coming out of a high school coaching job?
No. Oh, crap. I don't remember. I thought it was Jacksonville State.
It's kind of the same thing. Like, Dion was not a proven name at the time. And of course, an SEC job opens up. But I also never heard him ever attached to wanting to go to Ole Miss either. So you might have something there with Dion wanting the job. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Although I think that would have been, I don't know. I don't know that would have been.
No, you're team prime. Just admit it. You want Dion here. Just admit it.
Who?
You want Dion.
No, I am not. No. I look at Colorado. Look, it was flash in the pan. To me, he was there. He's there to coach his sons, and they're gone. And his buy-in to even coaching anymore, I think, has waned already. He was playing off his name, making sure he coached his kids, and that's it. And I don't think he stays with. I don't think he stays where he's at. Colorado, I just don't see him even having a long, extended coaching career. To be honest, and no, I don't want any part of that in Arkansas. I don't even drink Prime because he knows. Because Ty knows exactly how I feel about Jake Paul. Yeah, I hate that dude. I hate him so much. I want to fight Jake Paul. He doesn't even have to pay me the millions he pays people to lose. I just want to fight him. He can fight me for $100,000 instead of 10 million. I'll still beat him. I'll still whoop him. It doesn't even matter. I hate Jake Paul. I don't drink Prime, and I don't like Coach Prime. Just saying.
Well, at the end of the day, we're in the middle of who you gonna get era. God, I love that. I just want to spam that over and over. Who you gonna get? Who you gonna get? It's gonna be fun. Like we're gonna say this every freaking live show. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. I just hope that we get to a point where there's enough smoke around a name. I don't know. Again, Dan Mullen's still my number one. That could change. The guy is 5-0 right now, and he's done it before at a similar school in a similar situation. So I don't know, man. Again, we could poke holes in every one of these names. I do appreciate everyone. Don't forget, we're gonna do these Patreon card giveaways. You know what? We'll win a little bit over tonight, so I probably won't do it tonight because I still got to eat din. But shout out to two Patreon supporters and also Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. They offer repairs on just about everything. Broken springs. They'll come install a new door. They'll help with the openers. You name it. They'll come out the same day, even late. When you get off work really late, they'll be there and they'll help you deal with your garage door. Same day services, real humans answer the phone, no robots. Direct Service Overhead, raise the door, lower your stress. 501-244-3667. Again, shout out to DSO, Direct Service Overhead. Tim, thank you so much for being here tonight. It's always a fun and entertaining time. Hopefully Wednesday we get Travis on, and then we'll get ready for Tennessee because man, it feels like every game is big because of the potential of what it could mean for the future, and that's where we're at.
It's funny how bad you want Travis on here so you guys can gang up on me. That's okay, buddy.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true. Everybody, I thank you for being here. Like and share, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell on your way out. That way you're notified as soon as we go live. You never know. I could go live at Sam's Club again, like I did after Bobby fired the entire defensive staff. You just never know. So make sure you hit that notification bell and you get the noties sent to you because, YouTube isn't my number one fan as far as pushing content. So appreciate you guys. We'll see you back on Wednesday. It's only going to be that much more fun because we're in Who You Gonna Get season. So we're going to keep up with all of it. I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
See you Wednesday.
Bye. Who you gonna get?